Chelsea, look at this structure here. Look at the position of Chelsea and look at the overload, especially down Chelsea's right hand side. And you can see how Fulham actually positioned themselves in a situation where they are overloading Chelsea in a 3v2 situation. Now, Chelsea 2-0 victory over Fulham was quite a dynamic game with a lot of intricacies. First of all, what we saw is a Chelsea team that was not quite playing well in the first half in particular. And in the second half, Chelsea actually gained control in this game. But the question is, what did Chelsea actually do to gain control? PGMOL acknowledged the VAR, saying that it made a mistake in Chaloba's foul. But in my opinion, is that if that foul happens inside the box, it's a penalty. So why isn't it given as a foul? But anyway, it's Chelsea. Garnacho made an appearance at Stamford Bridge. He actually came to see the Chelsea game against Fulham, and he will be joining Chelsea this summer. And it's quite an interesting signing for Chelsea, considering what Chelsea have in the left wing area. On the other hand, Liverpool managed to win over Arsenal, a 1-0 victory that sees Liverpool maintain their 100% record in the league. They are currently top of the league. And also one thing, and this is an analysis that I will do in my second channel. I will also do an analysis on Manchester City, especially considering the 2-1 defeat and Manchester City's recent 2 defeats. And the question is, has Pep Guardiola been found out? And is Pep actually finished in the Premier League? Now, when you look at the table, Chelsea are seated second, 2 points behind Liverpool. And you can see that the position that Chelsea are actually maintaining a strong position on the higher rankings of the league, which I think that Chelsea should actually do before they start facing tougher opponents. And today we analyze Chelsea versus Fulham. If you are new, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. So, Maresca is super interesting the way he set up Chelsea. First of all, you need to understand that the way he set up Chelsea in the first half was actually nullified by Fulham, and that actually raises concerns. Now, look at Chelsea's overall position. You can see Chelsea's slight adjustment to that 3-1-3, and Chelsea played with a double striker system and an inside forward system. And you can see this was the structure that majority of Chelsea players used. But look at Fulham. Look at that wide overload down the right. As many as 4 players, Iwobi, Josh King, and Castagne. You can just see the overload that they were actually creating down that left side. Now, in attack, what you noticed is that because Fulham were looking to try and overload their left flank, Chelsea were looking likely just to press Fulham aggressively high. And this press for Chelsea is what actually brought problems to Chelsea. And how did that actually come to be? You see, Fulham were looking to actually build with more of an attacking 3, pressing up front. Then you saw that backline. Now, what you notice is that when this was happening, Chelsea were looking to back this press with a 4-1-4-1 attack. Now, this 4-1-4-1 attack was quite interesting in that when the ball will be played to a wide centre back, Chelsea's wingers were the ones who were charged, in particular Estevao, to press this winger. Now, this created overload naturally down Chelsea's right-hand side and down Fulham's left-hand side, because when they were looking to try and press in this systematic system, we saw that Gusto would move on to Castagne and to Sessegnon and try to prevent it, but Estevao was always being left 2v1 in this kind of scenario during build-up. Now, complementing that with the position that Iwobi was taking in and Josh King constantly making those runs in behind, Iwobi was constantly being found as the only player who was free in between the lines, and he would create problems for Chelsea. Look at this situation here. Chelsea are looking to press. Look at the ball has been shifted out wide. Estevao was caught high up, and Gusto is caught into 2 minds. Should he move to press the wing back or Iwobi? Iwobi is free. Look at him. He receives the ball, and Caicedo is far away from him to cover him because Caicedo was actually covering Luvic. And because of this, what you notice is that Iwobi constantly had that space in between the lines. Here again, the ball is played to Iwobi. Look at the position that Caicedo is picking. And now Trevor Chalobah, Tosin, actually has to step out from his line to go and try and cover Iwobi because Gusto has been caught high up trying to cover the wingback. Here again, look at this. You can see that that Gusto again is looking to step out to try and press the wingback. And look at the position that Iwobi is picking. And now it is forcing Caicedo to actually shift across and cover him. Here again, you can see the position that Caicedo is picking, Chalobah is picking up, looking to try and drop to cover Iwobi. And look at the position that Josh King is occupying, trying to pin back Tosin. Now, the positions that Iwobi was picking in between the lines were causing problems to Chelsea, especially when Chelsea were looking to build from the back. Here again, Iwobi has that ball, and what Iwobi is trying to do is actually having that space to carry the ball and look to create. Now, this space that Iwobi was having was courtesy of the wide centre back, the wing back, and Josh King moving into that left half space channel. And because of this, Iwobi constantly became a thorn in the flesh for Chelsea, dragging Chelsea's centre backs out of position. This, complemented with the movement of Josh King, almost made it super impossible because of the movement that was being taken up by Iwobi and Josh King. And the constant exploitation of Chelsea's backline by this scenario made it super impossible even for players like Caicedo to cover. And this came up because Chelsea decided to press with an unorthodox system, which is a 4-1-4-1. And even when Caicedo would move on to Iwobi, we would start to see now Fulham playing balls in the channel for the runs of Josh King, who will be tracked by Chalobah. And that is what happened to the disallowed goal. Josh King receives the ball 1v1 with Chalobah, is able to wriggle away from Chalobah and actually put Fulham ahead of Chelsea. And this was creating all manner of problems for Chelsea. Now, what you notice is that the same thing was also happening down the left, looking to drag out Chelsea's fullback and hitting the space left between Chelsea's fullback and Chelsea's centre-back. And this was constantly dragging Chelsea's backline out of position until Enzo Maresca actually had to adapt. Now, when you look at this, you see Chelsea's 2-0, and then you look at ball progression and passing, and you can see something about the whatever Iwobi was doing in that game when it came to ball progression, and how Chelsea were not progressing the ball as much as Fulham. Now, when Chelsea had the ball, Chelsea were looking to build from the back. And Fulham were looking to use both their forwards to press, their two midfielders, two of them to sit on the pivot, while one screening in behind. But this is where the problem was for Fulham, because now Chelsea also had wide overloads because they had fullbacks and wide wingers. So in particular, the fullbacks were easy to be picked because the wingbacks were being tied by Chelsea's aggressive 1v1 wingers. And sometimes we started to see João Pedro dropping deep because Delap was covering forward, allowing him to play balls over the top for the runs of Liam Delap. Here you can see Lukic is going for Cucurella, Castagne is going for Enzo, and space has opened in behind for a pass to be played for the runs of Pedro Neto. Now the ball is actually played forward, and look, it is Delap who has been isolated 1v1, and Chelsea now are looking to move to attack. But you notice that if Neto makes that run, then Delap just plays that ball in space for the runs of Neto. I think he did something like that back then. Caicedo's role in that 3-1-3-3 system was actually that of a sweeper, and that's why we saw sometimes even Tosin Adrabio stepping out to cover his wide player whenever the play actually broke. Here again, you can see again Tosin Adrabio stepping out, winning the aerial duel over the Fulham's forwards because they were looking to try and stop Fulham for actually creating more and more problems for Chelsea in this case. Now, Chelsea were quite dominant in this kind of structure. You can see the 5-3-2 structure, and then you can see the 4-2-4 structure. The ball will be played onto Trevor Chalobah, and Chelsea would move into that 3-1-3-3 structure with Pedro Neto playing behind the lap, Estevao tucking in, and Gusto generating the width. And that's why Gusto has been preferred over Reece James, because Gusto can be able to generate that width, allowing Chelsea to build with the kite and allowing Chelsea to have as many as 6 players to overload teams. Because remember, Crystal Palace gave teams a blueprint to try and play against Chelsea. So Maresca has been using this system to try and overload the opposition's backline. And credit to him, because Chelsea tried to create many chances against Fulham with that overload, especially the position that Joao Pedro was picking up. Caicedo was trusted to shield that midfield as a solo man. Whenever the ball would be lost, you would see Caicedo shuffling across, winning that ball and handing it back to Chelsea's forwards to initiate play. Now Maresca is really lucky. In some seasons, Chelsea actually lose this game. At best, they draw this game. But this season, Chelsea have managed to win this game, signifying a huge shift in mentality. What do you think? Do you agree with my analysis? Leave your comments in the comment section area below. Once again, thanks for watching.